Hello everyone, Noctem0 here, and today I want to talk about Fighter Pack 2 of Injustice 2. Now, I know it's been a few days, and I've been working quite a bit, but I thought to get this out there. Um, I think, first off, it's cool that we're getting Hellboy and Raiden. Everyone's just up in arms saying how Raiden shouldn't be in this game. We already got Sub-Zero. First off, I think it's great because I wanted to see what Raiden would really say to all these guys. I mean, ever since playing Mortal Kombat vs. DCU, I'll get to that in a minute. But to see Hellboy, it excites me. Now, everyone was hoping for Spawn, but the Hellboy silhouette did not match anything that would be considered close to Spawn. In fact, I kept thinking it might be Deadman, and I was okay if we got Deadman as well. But Hellboy, fuck yeah. I mean, he's not a superhero, but he's a comic book character, and another comic book character is way okay by me, especially the fact that it's Hellboy, and I can't wait to use the right hand of Doom on Superman. It's going to be awesome, just punching him right across the face. Now, I'm wondering what his super is going to be, but, well, we'll just have to wait and see in the coming months. We might get Hellboy in October, maybe, only because, you know, it seems kind of like the perfect time. Anyway, so to talk about the title of this, Mortal Kombat vs. DCU Comeback. Because they brought in Scorpion in the last Injustice, Sub-Zero in this current one, and now they're bringing in Raiden, I keep thinking to myself, why are they going out this far? Why are they suddenly just wanting to bring more their characters? Now, yeah, it is their characters that they're using to cross over with DC characters. I mean, they've already done that in Mortal Kombat vs. DCU back when Midway was still a thing. But why? Like, what are they gearing us up for? There's always a reason for something, and they're not doing it just for shits and giggles or something. Oh yeah, this is what you're waiting for, because no one wants these characters usually. I mean, yeah, sure, they want to see at least one Mortal Kombat character, but the other guest characters they want people outside of their own little realm. I mean, first off, I can only assume the only reason why they're bringing in their characters is because they don't have the rights to a lot of these other characters they want to bring in. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to trying to get a character to appear in a game that they've never had any kind of relation towards. I mean, personally, I would have loved to have seen Cole McGrath show up in Injustice. I think he would be perfect. I mean, they did that with Kratos in Mortal Kombat, and Kratos, to me, was the one that completely just threw things to the win for me, because I'm like, wow, I did not expect Kratos of all people to show up in Mortal Kombat. But that was always cool that PlayStation had that little exclusive thing where, you know, we got Cole McGrath on Street Fighter Cross Tekken, we got Kratos on Mortal Kombat. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Now for this, I do like I'm seeing that maybe the only reason why they're giving us these characters is kind of giving us like a bit of a taste of what they want to do in the future for a future Mortal Kombat vs. DCU game. Now, a lot of you are thinking that's crazy. Why would they go back and do a game that no one really liked? Personally, I thought it was good. I thought it was a really good game, especially for the story. I mean, you motherfuckers are saying that Mortal Kombat vs. DCU sucked, but if you really think about it, if that game hadn't been made the way it was, with the way they told their story modes, we wouldn't have been getting the really awesome cinematics we've been getting from Mortal Kombat, Injustice Gods Among Us, and Injustice 2, as well as Mortal Kombat X. I mean, we would not have gotten any of that. So, be grateful that Mortal Kombat vs. DCU actually existed. Now, to see something in the future, I mean, what could it possibly pertain? I mean, they've already referenced with just Sub-Zero alone that they've already encountered each other, though the DC characters don't know. My personal opinion is that the DC universe that Sub-Zero is in right now, the Injustice universe, because it never existed before, but this particular universe itself, Sub-Zero most likely is in a new DCU as opposed to the DCU that he encountered. I personally think the DCU he encountered is the ones from the DC characters from the Elseworld, with the other the other DCU that crossed over with the Injustice world. I feel like it was those guys that encountered them, because there's a few inconsistencies. Like, for instance, Catwoman recognizes Sub-Zero, but the Flash doesn't, or at least in some interactions. Though also the Joker, which the Joker interaction was probably the best one out of all of them, where Joker shows that he's familiar with Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero's, yes, we fought Dark Khan together previously. Another thing that I want to point out is that in Sub-Zero's ending, he says that after he had defeated Kotal Khan's forces with his Lin Kuei, he disappeared or something and then somehow showed up in the DCU. Now, initially I kept thinking, well, if the Raiden that we're going to get in this one is he the corrupted Raiden that we left with? The trailer shows that he isn't, but part of me is kind of thinking maybe he is, maybe, because, I mean, it didn't show that, like, when you play as the skin of corrupted Raiden, it's still kind of the same character, just not as bad as when he became all corrupted in Mortal Kombat, Armageddon and Deception. So that's what I kept thinking to myself, like, what if they're going to go in that route where Raiden's showing up to retrieve Sub-Zero, but at the same time he feels that the DCU is a threat. And I mean, he already said that anyone who tries to threaten Earthrealm would suffer a fate much worse than death. I mean, Raiden looks pretty savage even in this, despite the fact that he looks like his regular version of himself. So I don't know what to expect other than that. I mean, are they going to keep going with this? I mean, is this how it's going to be? A new Mortal Kombat versus DCU, to where Raiden invades the DCU to fight against the DC characters, thinking that they're threatening Earthrealm. It's a stretch, but I mean, it would be interesting to see how they do that kind of storyline where we get like a glimpse of what corrupted Raiden looks like, and of course he commands the Earth Special Forces to fight against the DCU. I mean, it would be interesting. Another thing is that, I mean, if the characters in the Injustice are the original DC characters that faced off against the Mortal Kombat characters in Mortal Kombat versus DCU, then that would imply that maybe Flash had something to do with the reason why they just don't remember them, or something. I don't know. I mean, it's plausible that the Flash had something to do with it. I mean, everyone at this point knows that, God damn it, Barry always seems to be the best way to go about figuring out why the timeline's fucked up. But if that's the case, then sure, it'll be like a Flashpoint-ish type of Mortal Kombat versus. I mean, and everyone's thinking, no, why do we want this? Why would we want another Mortal Kombat versus DCU? Think about it. 10 years ago, the environment of violent video games has changed. I mean, it's becoming more and more socially acceptable because a lot of the publishers now are being a bit more careful. I mean, look at how Mortal Kombat 9 was compared to Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat 9 to me had the much more brutal fatalities in terms of how they did them. I mean, God, the tongue thing after Stryker blows off somebody's head, that was always freaky as shit. And then there was what else? Oh yeah, the Shao Kahn's splitting in half. I mean, a lot of them were brutal. Oh yeah, Noob Saibot. Just thinking about all that shit, that's just brutal. Now going on to Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat X was good, but they didn't have, like, the fatalities to me didn't feel as gory. I mean, some of them were a little disturbing, like Ermax, or even Kenshi's, You Are My Puppet, but it didn't feel as frightening or as terrifying as most of the ones that I'm used to seeing. So, with the way it is now, they could do something Mortal Kombat X level, maybe bring it back even slightly more, so it becomes acceptable to see your favorite heroes getting slaughtered by the Mortal Kombat characters. But the best way to do this, though, is it has to be the Injustice characters against the Mortal Kombat characters, because standard DCU characters will not kill. But on the Injustice side of the spectrum, Superman, we'd like to see him do his high five through somebody's chest, or burn their their lower torso in half or something, or have Damian Wayne slice your throat like he did to Victor's ass. I mean, they weren't shy about how they did this, or burning a hole through your head with Superman. I mean, there's so many different things now with the Injustice characters, because even some of the heroes aren't too against the killing. I mean, that's the thing. They could easily do an Injustice game now and actually have fatalities more acceptable to whatever standards that DC has, because Injustice exists now. People love Injustice, and to combine Injustice versus Mortal Kombat or whatever, I think that would be a much better realm of possibilities when it comes to a future crossover, because I feel like that's what they're trying to do right now. They're giving us a bit of a taste by bringing in the Mortal Kombat characters, and I mean, their fighting styles haven't changed all that much. There, of course, there's no fatalities, but the X-rays and the supers aren't all that different either. It's just the X-rays show a bit of a brutal side. I mean, it'd be cool that the Mortal Kombat characters do X-rays and the Injustice characters do their supers. And who knows, maybe they can do something with the brutalities and stuff, bring those back. But those are my thoughts. I mean, no one's really talked about this as far as I've seen. I would like to see Mortal Kombat vs. DCU make a comeback. Not exactly a sequel, but more or less continue off what they were going with Injustice. Anyway, you guys take care.